everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I'm continuing on with my series of the newest releases from the online exclusives. You can find those on my cheri.stampinup.net website, and you can go there and do all your shopping. Make sure you grab my host code because I do give thank you gifts every month. So I'm going to show you the ones that I have already made. That way, if you missed one, you can go back. These all have tutorials that are up at the moment. So these I did from Pets and More. So you can see the little guys that are part of the pets. Super fun little set. Would be a lot of fun to use with kids that you stamp with. This one is the zinnias. Simply zinnias, I think. This is our card club set for March, but it's our card club ends the 10th signups for it. So the one I'm using today, the bundle I'm using today, I'm 99% certain will be our April bundle. These are Magnolia Mood. Again, it's the stamp and then the die, and two totally different looks from the same little bundle. And then the last one is Latte Love. I do have an online class for it. That registration closes on the 15th. So here were the first two that I used. This is the entire suite. It has the embellishments, the ribbon, the paper, the stamps, the dies. And then the video that would have posted just before this. This is Latte Love again without the rest of the suite. So it's the stamps and the dies, and then I just kind of made a masculine look with a more industrial, mid-century modern kind of look, because that's what the coffee pot kind of reminds me of when you add some color to it. You could make it be a Mr. Coffee, but where's the fun in that, right? So if you're interested in that online class, head to my website. The links are down below this video. And then today I am using Encircled in Nature. So I do think, and if supply issues aren't an issue, then it will be our April bundle, but we'll have to wait till we get closer to April to make sure. So you can see it has the wreath. It has a stamped wreath, and then it has, you can cut that out or you can cut out a wreath. We're going to use both on today's card. It has some great words. It has a lot of pine trees, some flowers. So it's just a really fun little bundle. And I always like to see the real thing because, you know, the artwork on the front of the stamps is not the size of the actual stamps. So it's, because here, this is the one that cuts out the stamped wreath. So you can see it's quite a lot larger. And then we have some autumn leaves that I'm not using, some pine, and then all the pine trees, and then this one cuts out the pine. And the rest of them we're using on today's card. So I started with Moody Mauve as my color base, and then I've just been using this paper a lot because it's on my desk and I'm trying to get a lot of things done, and so it's convenient. And I'm looking at flowers to color in, and I'm like, oh, mauve, and then a wreath, oh, that could be copper clay. So this is how we're gonna do today's card. I have a piece of vanilla because I like the way the vanilla kind of tones this down a little bit more vintage than if we just used white, basic white paper. So the first thing we're gonna do is stamp our flowers. So there's a little flower swag. So I'm just going to ink them up. Now this stamp set, the stamp design is wispy. So when you stamp it, you're not going to get a crystal clear stamp. It will be stamped well, but it's designed to look more wispy. I'll show you what I mean. Because the first time I did it, I thought, you know, the first time you use a stamp, sometimes it doesn't work great. So then I did it again. It was the exact same thing. See how it's just kind of a softer color? It's not quite distinctive. It's in a kind of middle range of that. So that I colored with Memento, and then I am going to use my Wink Stella. If you don't have one, you can use a blender pen. And I'm just going to color this in. So let's start with some crushed curry. Again, these were laying on my desk. So if you caught the Magnolia one where I watercolored, that's why some of them still have some refill in it. Got a little bit of the mauve on it from the last thing I colored. So I'm just going to get the refill, and then instead of just brushing this on, I'm going to dab it kind of in between all of the dots of black that are on there. That way my Stella won't cover up the black and it'll stay nice and sharp. Some of it I'll get on top of just because I'm doing it fast. Just grab that straight on there and just dab. So there's a slight bit of sparkle in that, but because I'm not really painting with the Wink of Stella, it's really just more of a way to get the ink on here. The other thing is once your Ink of Stella runs out of ink, you can just use it and dip the tip into water and use it as a paintbrush. Got to get that off of there because when you go straight ink, it does get a lot on there. Now let's go to Berry Burst. This is my highlight color, and I'm going to it next because if there's a little bit of curry still left in my brush, it'll just kind of tinge it a tad orange. So on this, I'm going to go over all of the black highlight marks that are in the flower. So just kind of brush up on them. And I'm just going to get a tiny bit of it as I kind of clean my brush off in the little buds. So there's our Berry Burst. Now we'll do the Moody Mauve. You can see I paint like this a lot. Mine, most of the time, already have the stuff that I need in it. And with the Moody Mauve, you're going to take it and you're going to ink it. And then you're going to do individual leaves, color in the individual leaves, because that way you get a little bit of shading. You see as I move on, it gets lighter and then lighter. So if you do them right next to each other, they go lighter, and you can pick, well, I've done this one dark, so I need to do a light one next to it. So this one's going to be a little bit darker. You can leave a little bit of vanilla showing. And once it comes all the way off, then I'll just reload my brush again. It makes watercoloring really easy, even if you don't feel like you have a clue of what you're doing. And you can see it looks nice to leave a little bit of vanilla. It kind of brightens it up. And then the same thing, I'm not going to put any more on here. I'm just going to clean my brush on the little buds. That way they're a little bit lighter than the flower itself. And then I'm going to take some copper clay. And this really doesn't need much at all because I just wanted some clay on there. So this I'm going to just brush right over the top of these little stems, which there's just 2 tiny ones, but it does add a little bit of copper clay, and then it will match our stamping and our die cutting. And then I'm going to take Lost Lagoon for my leaves. The green of the Lost Lagoon, because is it a blue or is it a green? It has that mid-tone to it, but that shade of green helps it keep that vintage feel. And then to clean it off, I'm just going to dab onto the end where the leaves go up on my buds. And that is it for our watercoloring. Now I'm going to take, I'm going to give that a second to dry. So I have a piece of Lost Lagoon. It is cut, let's see, it is cut 3.5 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to take this. I changed my card. This was originally done on vellum, and I didn't like it because I did it last night, and I got up this morning. I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. So it's been switched since then. So I'm going to grab my copper and my giant wreath. And just ink this up. This was not on the vellum. This stuff I added this morning, and I like the card a lot better. So this is just going to kind of give me a space where I know that I'm stamping everything. A tiny bit of it shows through on my other one, and it will all just depend on how you place it. You could stamp it more than once if you want that to be a focal point of your card because it is really pretty. But especially if you're in card club, we will use it more than once, I'm sure. So now there is a wreath of leaves. They're bent just right so you can get them to form a leaf. And I'm going to stamp Lost Lagoon onto Lost Lagoon, but I'm going to go on both sides of the wreath because, again, when we put our die cut on, it's going to cover up a lot. So I'm just doing one high and then one in the middle. And my Lost Lagoon really needs to be re-inked. I didn't realize it till this morning when I went and changed this card, but I hate to re-ink a stamp pad just before I film because you can grab a piece, a section of it that's over inked, and then you have a lot of like a splotchy part, and I didn't want to do that. So we're just pressing a little harder. And I know right now this kind of looks a hot mess, but it'll look great when we put the wreath on top. Then we want to add our sentiment, and I'm going to go back to my black pad to do that. I'm using the one that says, "May this year be incredible and filled with possibilities." So great for a birthday, an anniversary, a graduation, starting a new job. Save it for next year and send New Year's cards with it. It's a great saying, and I love the font. And it's just going to go right in the center of my wreath. So we have that. My memento needs to be re-inked as well, and I feel like I just did it. So maybe I pulled out a wrong one. But you can see it. So the possibilities kind of fades. But I'm not stamping the whole thing over. You can read it. Sometimes we're a little bit too hard on ourselves, I think. Now I'm going to do the dies. So I have the large wreath, and then I have two of the Moody Mauves. This is the luster paper of the In Colors. And then I have the die that will cut this out. So let me do that. Now I have this folder, and this is from the January mini. The name of it escapes me at the moment, but I will put it down below the video or on my blog if you want to know the name of it. It is flowers. It embosses really, really pretty, and I'm going to do it on some copper clay. Isn't that pretty? This is why I had vellum over the top of it in the first card, but you really couldn't see the pattern of it, so I decided I liked another color on top. So now we just have to stick all this together. It goes together really quickly. Our card base is mauve. So there's a lot of In Colors on this card. You could do the boho blue for the green if you wanted to go all In Colors. So I'm going to stick this. My seal, Flossy and my seal, I think we'll just go for seal. Pop this on here. And then I'm going to stick this on. And you see just enough because this embossing folder covers the whole thing. You don't lose, I mean, you definitely get to see some of the flowers. So pop that on there. And then I'm going to switch to glue. So I have my fine tip glue. There is a new catalog coming out, so if you are my customer and you have spent $50 with me since January, you're automatically on my list. If you are new to Stampin' Up! And nobody's ever sent you a catalog, I'm happy to send you your first one free of charge. If you want to just get a catalog and you haven't purchased recently, they do cost. I pay for them, and then I also pay to post them to you. So I ask that you help. $8 is what I charge. That doesn't even cover all of it. I do supplement part of it. Getting this on here, but that is redeemed back to you if you make a $50 or higher purchase in May. So I will be ordering my catalogs soon. Got to decide how where I want to put this. So there's this thinner part right here, and I know I'm going to put my flowers on this side. So see, a lot of that's getting covered up, but it gives a little background for us. And then I'm going to take some dimensionals to add my flowers. And I'm going to not stick them on yet. So I'm going to put them there so you lose even more of it. Then we have these two things. And then for the ribbon, I took the In Color twine. And so when you, I have plenty, so I don't need to do another one. So you take this and you untwist it, and it gives you 3 strands, right? So you have a ton to work with. So then I have, this is one of the strands that it twists down of the 3. This is, I've used 1.5 because the first way I didn't like it. So some of it's in the trash. It's not all on my first card. So you're just going to take this. You need to untwist it. 2 of them always do better than the last one. The one in the middle must be tight, but we're going to make this one work. So then you're just going to pull it apart again, because I want wisps. See the difference between that and this? If you put a bunch of this on the card, it's going to overwhelm your design. And so many of our ribbons can be deconstructed. So I'm just gonna pull this again. And it's kind of just giving me some more fuzzies. So just pull it, kind of work with it. We should have done this when we did the nest cards earlier this year. So we have this. And I'm just going to take my 2/8, I'm going to use this. On my other one I used that, but it'll dry. Because on the other one I'd already stuck these on. So I'm just going to put this, so it kind of goes up. And that's light enough and wispy enough that it's not covering up any of our design. And it doesn't need to go further out than you think, because the flowers are larger when you get them on here. I'm gonna put my glue on here. And just kind of aim it so it goes up. Make sure it's all grabbed some glue. But don't you love those wispies? Isn't that fun? Then we have this little piece here. Cut it there, and then we have our 2 that we cut out from the mauve luster paper. Lay that right on there. When I put my flowers on, then I'll smash it all down and it will grab. I am just putting glue on the bottom because I do want those to kind of lift up a little bit. Get my lid back on. Sometimes people tell me, okay, there's 2 people are like, my glue doesn't come out. Often those people, when they've emailed me, they didn't take the little paper off the top when you first get it. And people then tell me that it dries up. It's a small, tiny little escape hole for the glue to come out. So you don't want it to sit. I used it, I put the pin back on. You don't have to seal it all the way back up, but you definitely need to get the pin in there. You don't want it to sit for 5-10 minutes while you finish your card, because eventually it is going to all dry up in that little tube, and then it defeats the purpose of fine tip and the little needle that helps you. But my number one thing is people saying it doesn't work, and it's because they didn't take the paper off. So we have that, and see, there's still more ribbon. So I've done 2 cards, I threw some away, and I still have enough to do another card. You'll really get a lot out of the In Color twine. And then I've used these on the last few cards. You guys are probably tired of them. I promise this will be the last one. I'll switch to something a little bit brighter. These do have a fall feel. I guess I'm just in the fall. March is weird, isn't it? Today it's going to be beautiful and sunny, but then it could snow. So March is like, I don't know what we're in. So let's take this section of them. They do come with the copper. I guess I do need copper. And the bow. Here's all the colors. I've used these in several classes, so I cut them up when I'm putting them in, or VIP projects or something. So let's do a little bit of this is wild wheat, which I could have used instead of crushed curry. We've had curry for so long that when I do a flower center, I'm drawn to that. So there's 2 of those, and then we have the mauve. My other card, my leaves are better. They're down here and not so much where the words are. So hang on and I'll show you a better version of this card. Let's get 3 of the mauve, and then that gives us 5. So we need 2 more because you want to leave an odd number. Let's get copper clay. And there you go. The other one I do like that I can see my leaves down there. It's what happens when you change a card right before you film it, is I don't remember. I remember how I did the vellum one. See, this one, the leaves just go further, and I left a larger hole in there. I think on this one, I stamped the words first and stamped around them. On this one, I did the wreath first. So do your words first. but they're both very pretty. This one, see how I put that on, and so I didn't have a way to get my things underneath it. And part of the reason I did that was because it was already sticky from pulling it off the vellum. Sometimes things aren't necessarily a design feature. It's just because that's how your art's going at the moment, you know, when you change stuff. So this, if you're interested in my April Club, be watching. This won't be a club card because we'll have designer series paper. I have no idea. I'm waiting to see the retired list and stock issues and stuff before I can really say much about April. I need to get closer to being able to order it for April. But I do love this set. I wanted to kind of play with it and see it before I committed to it. So as long as it's in stock, because the zinnias were out of stock, and that was our March set, but it went out of stock even before the last day that they could order it and add it on. It's coming back, just not in time for the Zinnia Club. Everybody have a great day, and I'll catch you back here later. If you're interested in shopping with me and getting a thank you gift, getting a new catalog, or my online classes, just visit my website, and there you can sign up for my email. Have a great one. Bye.